Welcome back to the Berg Podcast. Thanks for joining me today. With me today is Dan.
Hey, everybody.
And Ford.
Hey, what's going on?
And we're talking about Happy New Year. We're between the holidays here. We got New Year right around the corner. And just taking a time for some end of year, beginning of year reflection.
Exactly. Another thing is, beginning of the year, things change. People try new things, want to do update, that kind of stuff. And so, it's kind of interesting for us because, this is a Berg podcast. And so our year doesn't end on December 31st. But mentally, everything ends on December 31st. And January 1st is fresh and clean. So it's kind of like a duplicitous thing for us because, like, as people, it's a new year. At work, it's not a new year. So it's just kind of a different operation there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because, like, from not like strictly from a business standpoint, non-celebratory holiday, it's actually kind of like a pain, right? Because we kind of do like these two end of years in some ways. Like we do the 9/30 financial closing, and that takes a couple months, and then we do kind of like a 12/31 closing for everything else, like all the benefits and the payroll and those types of things. So yeah, so it's a hectic, 4 months or so here between the holidays and everything else. So
yeah, and you're still trying to, we have our, we had our holiday meal together, so we still have like our end of year stuff, even though we're really going. And then you do have the weather impact because the weather changes what our work is to some degree and what we can do and how we do it. So there's definitely like an end of year sense, but like Ford said, it doesn't run exactly the same because we're basing everything on the years, which was set up based on just trying to keep things in a certain year versus the seasonality of our work. So that's interesting. Do you guys do stuff for New Year's? Is that something you guys go out? Do you do anything, or is that not a?
We eat some. We have like a special meal. Like, we order some food from, like, what's it called? Potbelly? No, Goldbelly.
Goldbelly?
Yeah.
What's Goldbelly?
Goldbelly is this website where you can order food from all over the country and get it shipped to you. And like we've got stuff from Commander's Palace in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We've gotten stuff from in San Francisco. So a place we've never been, but we get like different types of food and trying them out as like a meal.
Cool.
We get bagels sent from New York, so they're like the actual bagel, like get
They're
it from
New
the
York
hometown.
bagels.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Very
You
cool.
can get pizzas from Chicago if you want the deep dish, whatever the type of scenario is, but it allows you to kind of just get a different flavor for the time.
I got
That's
you.
neat.
That is neat. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so it makes it fun to try something different. When we grew up, it was always like there used to be a seafood stand in Morgantown, which I don't know whose idea that was at that point, but
Since we're so close to the ocean.
exactly.
It wasn't Hills, I assume.
No, it definitely was not Hills, but we didn't get sick that I remember, so I think we were good. Hopefully it was fresh then. But we used to have like crab legs. That was like our once a year.
Oh,
You
yeah.
kind of had like a meal type deal. The whole staying up for the ball to drop thing, maybe someday it'll come back into fashion. But I mean, at this point, if I could find one of the other countries' broadcast that does it about 8 p.m.,
It's good
Good
for
with
you.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
we've been through like every cycle of it, like being younger and going and celebrating, and then being in the city, and then being older and trying to figure out how you like pretend. We did it in the city one time because they'll run it twice, and in Philly
right.
they'll run it
Mhm.
twice. So we went like, and the girls could see it at like 7 or 8 o'clock, whatever that was.
Lancaster used to do that too. They would do like the Red Rose drop at like 10 or something like that. And so,
And then, and now we got to the point where we really didn't do much of anything. We just stayed home, and the girls would fall asleep. This year we had gotten invited to a party with friends from where we live and school. And so apparently we're really going to try and keep the girls out at a party until midnight. So this is like a big step for us. I don't know how they're going to do.
right.
On the one hand, I feel like Nora will fare the best because Nora is like a party all the time. But I also know with her being the baby, she does crash out. Like when she's done, she just like,
It's just over.
and she'll go to sleep
Mhm.
anywhere. You know what I mean? Like Nora falls asleep on the beach. Nora will just find herself a blanket and that'll be it. Nora will call it a night.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting for us. You have older kids, so I assume they, to some degree, at least
Yeah.
Gavin's going out.
We've kind of gone through the cycle, and now like our kids are starting the cycle, so to speak. So like, yeah, same thing. We used to go out with friends and like Allie's brother and cousin, and then we used to like host something almost every year. We'd have like friends come over, and then we got kind of tired of that, and then for the last couple of years, we've kind of just like hung out, not really done a whole lot. And our kids have started to do stuff because now they're teenagers, right? And yeah, so this year we don't really have New Year's Eve plans, Allie and I, but I know for sure we talked about going away for a day or two in between Christmas and New Year's to visit some family, and our kids are all like, "But we need to be home," and because they have plans. So,
Well, I also think we've talked about this before, but I'm starting to be a big believer that holidays should all not have a date to them, but just be like, because New Year's and Christmas is similar, but what day it falls on makes a big difference on the ability to celebrate it.
Yeah, or what you do at least, right?
Because you have it's all about the recovery time or the or the travel time. So it's like if it's on a Friday or a Saturday, it might be a bigger to do. It's on a Sunday night, Monday during the middle of the week. It kind of creates a little bit different on what experience you might try and have because of that.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I also used to enjoy going to the Mummers Parade down in Philly, and now I feel like I like tried to do it with the girls, and like they enjoyed it, but I don't know, it's not the same. I don't, and like you can't, as you get older, you can't tell if it's different because you're seeing it from a different perspective, or it's different because the city has changed.
Because it's different, right?
You know, because it's actually different. So it's hard to say which of those. So we like talk about doing it. We've done it a couple times, but it's just, and it's not Erin's scene. Like Erin enjoys, she'll go, but it's not her, especially with young kids. She doesn't really want to run around the city.
Yeah.
Now, is there any traditions that, Brian, you've been able to continue on? Like, because I think that's part. Like, we have real young kids, so we're like trying to set up the traditions. Now, granted, they're going to change as life changes, but you're trying to create those events. Like you said, you grew up with going to Mummers Parade, and so to you, that has a special meaning, even if it's not the same as it was. But you kind of had that thing that like was like, okay, that's going to happen that day, or like I know a lot of people like Christmas Eve would eat like maybe Chinese food, or they had like traditions that they wanted to
fishes for
yeah.
We do. So not for New Year's. Christmas, we do have a couple of things that we've always sort of done, like me even younger as a kid, that we've been able to continue. And a couple of things that we've started in the last few years, like our personal family. So for Christmas, we always do like on Christmas Eve, we'll do Christmas Eve service, and that's like become like a weird thing. Like our church is a little bit bigger, so they've got like 7 Christmas Eve services, right? Which is awesome to some extent because I want to do it, I want to participate, but also like you're trying to schedule family gatherings and stuff like that. So not that those things should take precedence over
Logistically, it helps,
but it does, yeah. So we'll do Christmas Eve service, and then we actually don't do like a real big family. We used to do like a family gathering on Christmas Eve, but because people are a little more spread out now, it doesn't necessarily work. So we generally do tamales for dinner, and the last couple of years, my like immediate family, me, my wife, my kids, we've actually started going to the movies on Christmas Eve, because we're all home. We don't necessarily have big family plans, and we've had dinner, and it's kind of a cool like thing to do. And it's not super crowded, and the movie theater is open for those poor people who have to work there. But so yeah, and then on Christmas Day, we always get together, like with at my parents' house, and we do our own thing Christmas morning at our house with our kids, have a breakfast, then go like late lunch, early dinner with my parents. So,
yeah, we do. We go back to Jersey and for Lavagile for 7 fishes. And most of my family, almost all of them will be there. So that's a big gathering, and we'll spend a little bit more time there. We've actually gotten adapted to the fact that most of the preparation for Christmas is done before we hit that weekend or a couple days before, because we know we probably won't be back in the state of Pennsylvania before 11:30 at night. So you got to like then
right.
just
it's got to be prepped. It's
got to be prepped.
Roll
you
it
just
out.
Got to roll it out. Sorry. But and then Christmas, some people come to us because I really don't want to. I don't want to move on Christmas. I feel like we've already done our
right. Especially
our
with younger
there,
kids. I mean,
especially with younger kids. So that's sort of our setup. I think that we're probably heading to. We've been going skiing the week after New Year's for 3-4 years now in a row. The girls all ski. Charlotte's birthday is that first week. she started wanting to be home. So this time we're going to come home a day early so that she can see her friends and have people over on her birthday. But I think that I really feel like we're going to end up that we're going to head somewhere that I know there'll be snow early. And I think we're going to spend New Year's like
Somewhere
at a
with
resort
snow,
skiing.
yeah.
And that's when the girls will ski is that.
And then come home.
I mean, it
just
is the
after,
holiday,
yeah.
so I don't love it because it'll
Yeah.
be crowded. But if you go far enough away, you can get away from the crowd. So I feel like that's something we're going to do, and I'd love for that to establish something because you get the best of both worlds. Like there'll be fireworks, there'll be some sort of a celebration that you don't have to set up, but it also gets the family away in a time when it's not they're already off and it's convenient for us. Even though Berg's going to run, I could get away and not impact us a whole lot.
Yeah, I have a buddy that growing up, and they went away from Christmas to New Year's every year, and it just now that they're my age, they have their own kids. They're still going with their family. Like
Nice.
it's just trying to set up something, because they're 1 and 3 or whatever. So you're trying to like think ahead of like, it might change, but like, what would we love to be that every year you just knew that New Year's or whatever
Right.
was going to be.
They kind of look
X.
forward to it. And
Right.
Yep. mhm.
Make it more than just some fireworks and cheers type thing. But like, what else could you do to really try and cement that in as a scheduled date that you're looking forward to be like, all right, you know what? Can't wait till next year because we're gonna do the same or something similar.
Something
type
similar.
there.
Right. Yeah.
So still the jury's out. There's nothing been like you're like you're saying, you're kind of like working towards that thing. You kind of
Yeah.
edit it and work towards now you have the
Right.
thing. But yours is more Christmas based. But at the same
Yeah.
time,
Ours,
trying
we
to
don't really
figure it
have
out.
like a New Year's thing. I mean, especially like since our kids want to go hang out with their friends and stuff like that. So
In a perfect world, the way I thought about it was I would like to solve two problems with one solution, with a single solution, which is if we could get to the point where Christmas, my kids age out of it a little bit more, and it could be an experience, then instead of buying a bunch of things that we don't need because you feel obligated to buy each other presents, the kids and everything, that we take that opportunity to say like, okay, we're going to do this thing as a family and we'll remember it, and then as the family potentially gets bigger when they're older, maybe we could still do that thing, whether it be at a specific location or varying, but that you'd remember the experience. That's sort of, I'd love to be able to merge that. If I could go back, I would undo a little bit of the Santa thing, and we talked
Right.
about that,
yeah.
and convert it over to an experience that didn't
Right.
have to come
They get
from
a
that.
couple things, but they go do something.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of interesting how certain holidays are family and certain holidays are friends,
Mm.
right? I mean, because like New Year's is more of a friend holiday in
Mhm.
general. 4th of July usually more of a friend holiday.
Sure.
I don't know. It's just certain holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving are family based usually.
Yep.
And then some of these other holidays. So like that's kind of the turn, and that's probably part of the issue with like your kids now want to go hang out with their friends, so it kind of
Right.
cuts that. And he's trying to just be out of town, so he can kind of cut that off ahead of time.
Get it
But
ahead of time.
at the same time,
Yeah.
at some point you start that tradition, and then like 10 years, the kids are like, we want to be back home with whatever our friends. You're like,
Right.
sorry, we're out of town that weekend.
Yeah,
You're-
yeah.
Sorry, July.
Hey, you know what we got coming up here too is I just thought about it is there's a lot of times it could be cool to have a birthday. Like you think about it different times. Like it'd be neat to have your birthday this or that. Or mine's in the middle of summer, and you always glass half full, glass half empty sort of attitude. Like it was great that my birthday was in the summer. It was always a lot of fun. It was warm. We could go to the beach. We could be in Maine. We could be somewhere. But in my head, because of how much I enjoyed schooling, I always thought when you hit my birthday, the summer's half over. I'm like headed back to school. So there's always like a plus or minus. But Ed Parrott, his birthday's, I believe Ed's birthday is the 31st.
Oh, is it?
I think Ed's birthday is
I know
New Year's
it's-
Eve.
I know
I'm
it's
almost
December.
positive.
Mm,
I'm
yeah.
almost positive it's New Year's Eve. And
Okay.
when I had heard that, and the reason I think I'm right is because I heard that and I was
Yeah.
like, for a time in your life,
Sure.
how cool would it be to have
To celebrate your birthday.
It's
New
a
Year's
party.
Eve. Yeah.
When you're in that age, like
Yeah.
when you're like, whatever it is, 17 to 24, the potential's there that could be just a built-in. It'd be like being born on St. Patrick's Day. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
I know a guy.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be a party. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's one of those things where it's just other times like people sometimes you take a hit, like if your birthday's too close to Christmas. I know
Yeah,
people who are
right.
born on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, and they're like, where everybody's already buying presents. Like I don't get like more presents.
You don't get
because
the
of it.
different.
I just lose my birthday. But
Nice.
Ed nailed it with the New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve birthday. That would be tough though. That's pretty close to Christmas still.
It is, but
yeah.
well, that's why I didn't say it was great when you were
Yeah,
like 6.
right,
I'm saying
right.
it's great when you're like 18.
All right, that's fair.
Well, real quick, I know we're gonna wrap up, but like, is there anything you guys are trying like in the new year? Not like New Year's resolutions, but just anything like not we all go to the gym for the first month type of thing. But I mean, it's just like anything in the new year. You're like, oh, we wanted to spend more time. Is there any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, for me,
I haven't even thought about it yet, so
yeah,
I
no,
can't claim.
Yeah, no, I have thought about it. And for one of the things, I'm gonna try and I last year I made a really intentional, to use like a Brian word. I was very intentional about. I have many less posts about anything. I didn't share a lot of pictures of the girls. I didn't take a lot of pictures of the girls. And that sounds like a bad thing, but it was because I wanted to be there in the moment instead of being the guy like holding a phone, videotaping my girls doing something. I just want to do it. You know, Mara had a piano recital the other day, and a bunch of people, Aaron couldn't be there. A bunch of people asked me, "Did you tape it?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, if I'm taping it, then I'm watching a screen of her doing it. I just wanted to see her do it."
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines, this year I want to really try to focus on being like more in the moment of just enjoying them doing what they're doing. Like my kids are, you know, Mara's 11, and she's gotten really competitive with soccer, and Charlotte's really competitive with soccer. And I want to just step back and like just enjoy them playing it for the sake of them, and not be like the crazy person screaming. I'm not that bad now,
Mm-hmm.
but you see it. The more competitive it gets, and Brian, you know this with your boys and
Right.
and with Addie and watching it, you know, the more competitive it gets, the more parents think that somehow yelling is going to help.
Right.
And so I want to put a focus on that, to not step back from the sports, but to just let them play and just be there to enjoy them playing. I think if I could do that, it would be good for me and for them.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, mine's a little similar. You don't like necessarily see like that you don't get the moment again until the moments are gone, right? So kind of similar. We've started talking about like with Gavin being in college now, and you know he's in his third year and starting to transition to. This summer he'll be doing some internship work and stuff like that. So, like, did we go on our last full family vacation already, or did we do like things that might have been the last time we'll do them as a whole group? And so for me, just kind of being intentional about like spending the time, enjoying the moment, celebrating the successes, things like that. So, yeah.
Well, that's neat. It's funny. My uncle was one of those guys back in the day that like had a video, like back when he had the video cameras, like the big ones. It was like on his shoulder, on his head for like every event. And I guess later you get to see some tapes, and maybe they just stack up and collect dust. But I remember years ago, I was actually at the Eagles parade, a long time ago, unfortunately now. But and someone wanted me to take a video of like the buses going by with the people on or whatever. And so I remember like trying to get the camera right and not actually seeing what was going on in front of me. So I kind of stopped that, you know, but also I don't have my phone on me a lot. But and then the second thing is like you watch like any kind of sporting event, everyone that's there that spent lots of money are watching it through their phones.
Yeah.
And it was funny, actually, Tiger Woods the other night, it was something he's like, I try and tell my kids all the time, look up, look at the world around you, the beauty, all that kind of stuff. Instead, you're staring at a screen that's 3 by 5 inches. Like you live your, like, it's amazing how, I mean, I'm sure as we get older, we'll be like, but the transition of how that has happened in the last couple years, we've actually seen this transition. My nephews and nieces come over and like you start talking to them, and they don't even hear you because they're focusing on the phone. And it's just like, you know, you start getting to be the old curmudgeon guy, but you're just like, wow, like it's amazing how that has sucked in so many eyeballs. And it's kind of crazy how that goes.
Well, and I think for young people, like I remember, I remember there being a time where like I felt like for me, like emails, like I remember a time where I felt like I had to respond to an email. I got to respond like right away, right? And I think for young people, some of that exists, right? They like are doing something, but they've missed well, I don't think they even text anymore, but like a Snapchat or whatever that they've got to like, oh, I should respond. I don't want them to think I didn't read it or didn't see it. And I think they get kind of caught up in that. And like, you know, you're like when you stop to think about it, like a text message in a lot of ways, and very much like an email, like those are things that like you don't want to necessarily ignore, but if they needed you immediately, hopefully they would have just called you. Right?
What do you do? How do you call somebody? I'm curious how this works again.
That's true. That's true. There's nothing to actually make phone calls.
Yeah.
But
my nephew,
my
nephew literally said, my nephew literally the other day he was like, I was kind of chatting with a girl through Snap or whatever he did. And I was like, oh, so the guy's going, I was like, he fell apart. How did it fall apart? Well, she stopped responding like right away.
She
I'm
left me
like-
on red.
I'm like, what does that mean? Like, she could have been busy. He's like, I mean, like, what are you talking about? Like, she didn't respond at all. He's like, nah, but like, she responded the next morning or whatever. So that kind of like showed him that was the end of that. And I'm like, thinking to myself,
that's-
like, oh man, I'm glad I can
Yeah.
barely respond within 24 hours, let alone like immediately.
And I can feel like, and we were trying to wrap it up, but I can feel like we're all going to get worse. You know what I mean? Like and worse is not a sense of it being bad, but I'm saying like this is going to increase with us. Like as I think about the last year,
The immediacy of everything.
well, no, the most fun things that I did, I didn't have a phone on me. You know what I mean? Like I think that I've made it to a point where I'm going back there. Like when I started, things I thought were fun had nothing to do with the phone.
Right.
And the further we get, and not just outside of work, even in work, you know what I mean? Like when you leave your phone in the truck and you're trying to figure out a problem, like that's fun because you're there. You know what I mean? You're present. Let's get this done. You know, and the world could use more of that.
Well, yeah, it's very bad when your 3-year-old says, "Hey, let's take a selfie," and you're like, first of all, where did you find that word, and what does that mean?
What do you know about this?
Yes, but I mean, like that's just the like
It's culture.
that's what she's inundated with. And you're like, all right, we're moving to Idaho. Let's go
Yeah.
now.
Get the pig farm for
Oh
it.
my goodness. All right. Well, hey, folks, we hope you got something from this. We hope you put your phones down
Yeah.
and pick your eyes up and live life in the moment instead of through your screen. And remember that those moments you might not get back don't need to necessarily be captured on your device. Capture them in your head. So happy New Year. Be safe. And we'll talk to you again in 2024.